So what are we going to do today? Okay. Today is also an equally interesting session. So everything about the assessment centers. Okay. What are they? Then what are developmental centers? What happens actually in an assessment center? How do you design an assessment center? Then what are some of the techniques or tools we use in assessment center? How is the process going to be? How does it take place? How does evaluation take place? Then what are actually the uses of assessment centers? Okay, likewise. So before I actually anybody who's, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with the assessment center because Accenture and some of the multinationals, most of the companies use assessment centers. Anybody who's actually not heard this word called assessment center? And yes, I'm sure some of you have heard. What do you really understand when I say assessment center? Anybody? That's how I will get energized, motivated to.
See, assessment center are of 2 to 3 types, which I have encountered, I have witnessed in my previous organization. Once they use for recruitment to identify the right fit for certain a manager and above.
Okay, you are talking about uses of assessment center.
Yes, yes.
So
yes.
where all do we use? Okay. So you are saying recruitment. Okay, selection.
Selection, then elevation to a certain level, maybe senior manager, head of a region. Those we use.
So shall I say diagnostic and also developmental?
Developmental, yes. For developmental,
diagnostic in the sense finding out and the gaps, and then development.
Developing.
Okay.
For that.
Okay. All right.
The ideal one happening in India throughout from many years is you can see the defense NDA or CDS staff selection board.
Okay.
That's where it happens.
Right.
Where I've seen my brother getting into it, my friends. So what all they want? That's a laborious 5 days process they undergo in Hyderabad, which I know, and one we have got in Bangalore. Okay. That's the actual assessment center in real terms, which I have seen or I known from my friends. That's what the real assessment.
Okay,
centers.
Let's hear something a little from Swati.
I would also say the same to add to what Shamir said. It's basically assessment centers are maybe, I don't know if framework is the right term, but the objective is to identify the right job fit and probably then also run development centers based on the output which we get out of assessment centers.
Okay. You said, Shamir said uses of assessment center. Then you said, I don't know whether it's the right word to use framework. So we will come to that. But you said again, essentially output in the sense, the right person to select the right person for the right job, etc.
Yeah.
Okay. So somebody said, you said framework. So essentially, anybody understand when we say assessment center, what goes into it?
Ma'am, knowledge can be known from resume, from interview, but skills, attitudes, aptitudes can be known through better assessment of an individual for right fit in the job, the expressions of the skills. So having skills, more important is expressing it at right place.
Okay.
So I think all that goes in assessment center, and it has to be done in very well designed way to have proper results.
So can I say it's a process?
Yes, it's a process. It's a process.
So when I say assessment center, it is actually not a place.
It's
Center,
a process.
resource center. It's not typically, so I want to emphasize this. So when we use a word like assessment center, assessment is very, very clear. Assessment means evaluation, but center in the sense it's actually a process. Okay.
Correct.
Well, as rightly stated, Leena, she said that Swati wanted to know whether I need to say a framework. Assessment center is a process. Now, process means there is something happening there, right?
Correct. Yes.
So
yes.
You are assessing something. So when you're going through this process, there is something called preset standards. preset standards, what Leena was talking about,
Mm.
the skill sets, the behaviors. Okay, so there are something called preset standards. All of you, for your type, for your roles, you did competency mapping, right?
Yes.
So when I want to evaluate for what? It could be for selection. It could be for understanding certain kind of a diagnostic purposes. It could be for developmental purposes, right? So when I want to evaluate for certain thing, so when I'm evaluating these preset standards of a particular role, then for selection purpose, then what is it called? Assessment center. But if I'm doing it for diagnostic and developmental purposes, it is called a development center. The process is the same. The process is the same, but the purpose or for what you use it is different. For selection, you're trying to hire a person, so selection purpose. But when you're using it for training and development and promotional purposes because you wanted to find out the gap, it's called a development center. Okay, so the fundamental thing is what? There's a difference between how we put it into use an assessment center and a development center. Got it? It's a process of evaluation. And what are you going to evaluate? You're going to evaluate
Standards.
the same things what you have done, competency mapping, the preset standards, right? Now, so I'm just giving a context so that I will then start. Like even Leena was mentioning, when I'm actually selecting a person, when I'm doing an interview process, you interview for a job, for a role. What do you interview? You will interview for knowledge. You will interview for skill. You will also interview for other things, that is attitudes like motivations, right? Values. You want to do traits, everything. You are using a same yardstick of interviewing question method, asking questions for knowledge, asking questions for skill, and asking. Can you use the same evaluation tool of interviewing, questioning for asking knowledge, skill, and attitudes? When if you look at the iceberg model, knowledge and skill can be seen something, but what is beneath the iceberg that is immersed in water is that motive, stress. Can we use the same questioning method to get the illicit answers? We will not be able to get the best. Because if I ask Leena, hey, are you a team worker? Because I need a teamwork. Team working is very, very important. You are in a customer, service profile, and you have to work along with the other team members. Leena will say, yes, ma'am, 100% teamwork. Obviously, you will give me answers. Leading question, right? How good are you at planning and organizing? She will say, I'm very good at planning and organizing. Which candidate will say that he is not good? Knowledge. Leena, do you know the competency mapping? What is this iceberg model? She will explain everything. Knowledge can be elicited through questions. I'll go to a campus interview, knowledge I can get. But can I get the same asking questions, and can I elicit, evaluate or test for skills and also for the internal traits, motives? No. So therefore, this process of assessment center, wherein you are using different types of tools and techniques. There are different types of tools and techniques to probe into what is immersed in the water. So that I want to know the real you. How many times, my dear friends, you would have seen that you have hired thinking that he is the best candidate because he's been a topper in the institute, right? He's very good. But you found that he was a mismatch in the team. He can't get along in the team. He cannot tolerate or, look at other person's point of view. He may be a great, very high IQ topper, but not able to get along. So therefore, essentially, we use assessment centers to unearth and to evaluate, hey, what are those critical behaviors or competencies? Okay, guys. So assessment center, you should not think, oh my God, what is this assessment center? So it's a simple process. You are using different tools and techniques as per the requirement of the preset or pre-standard, so that you are able to really get a lot of what information input by observing that person. What is he doing? How is he doing? What is he saying? So everything is observed through who does it? SSRs. So we have what we call it as SSRs. And the person who is actually being evaluated is called SSC. Like interviewer, interviewee. Here in assessment center, we call it as SSC, the person who is being evaluated, and SSRs who are actually observing and evaluating. Okay, so let us actually see how it happens, what it happens. Yeah. Shamir was saying, I also come from an army background. My father in the army, my brother who just retired as colonel. So ask them the recruitment process. Huh? A best example of assessment center is the selection board of our officers.
Yeah.
A very stringent, rigorous, it goes through 5 levels, right? Where you do a lot of leadership exercises, physical, because they know what are those critical things which are required, and they will then put them on to a lot of those simulations and exercises and tools and techniques. In fact, they also put them through, there is some that special test, TMT, thematic persuasion test, that is storytelling, to understand what motives, the need for achievement or the need for affiliation or the need for power. What kind of need does it have? So the history I'm not going to get in detail, because you can always read it there in your book. All that I want to say is that it has a genesis in the World War II, when they were actually selecting officers, because they wanted certain traits and dimensions, so that how are they able to function, and that's how all it started. And thereafter, the World War II, even selecting the British officers, and even the American that is, even in their recruitment for their military force, they also used assessment centers. And AT&T was the first company which actually did a lot of study. They had done a lot of research, and they could actually then, through their research, predict that assessment centers were a very good method to do selection and recruitment for their across all the levels. In fact, I have a big research report. I will share it with you. So it's a good read. You get a good understanding, because what they call it as the management progress study. Okay. Now, so an assessment center, as I said, consists of standardized evaluation behavior based on multiple inputs. So what is it? It's actually a process wherein you are assessing to determine the suitability of a particular role by using variety of techniques and measuring a variety of constructs. Most of the psychology students will know what is a construct. Measuring a variety of constructs. What does it mean?
Personality factors.
Huh?
Personality factors.
Absolutely. What does it mean to elaborate? Say, for example, simple thing I will say. When you study psychology, you use this word a lot, like construct, and even in a psychometric test. What does it mean simply? Say, I'll say, Harish is very intelligent. Okay. How will I know? I mean, intelligent. Can I see intelligence? How would I gather intelligence? Maybe I gather intelligence by the way you speak, right? By the way you do things. Okay. So this construct of, this factor, intelligence, How do I measure it? How do I test it? Ultimately, when we are talking about in organization, we are talking about constructs, various constructs. In the sense, I could be saying constructs are all kinds of personality traits. Now, when I talk about a personality trait or a dimension, there are certain behaviors which the person has to exhibit, demonstrate. I will show you a little more. I have that slide where I will say, hey, you know, that person is high on motivation. His need for achievement is very high. Or his need for, how can I say that his need for affiliation is very high? Affiliation is what? People, means getting closer to people. So when I actually see certain behaviors grouped together, whatever he is doing, then I will say, hey, Harish is a person with a high need for affiliation. I'm not assuming. I'm actually having data about Harish. Are you with me, guys? Huh?
Mm.
Just trying to use Harish as a guinea pig there. Huh? Example. Okay. Yeah. So designed to allow candidates to demonstrate the skills and abilities that are most essential. You will be doing, guys. So I just take you through so that you know exactly how we will do them. So a lot of you have already said the uses of assessment center: selection purposes, diagnostic purposes, and developmental purposes. So for example, selection, competency assessment and development. When you do competency assessment and development, what do you get? What is the outcome? For an organization, if I were to do the assessment of their competencies, what is the outcome I will get?
Results, right? People.
Shortlisted people for
Pardon?
future. We can have people whom we can consider for future promotions or future any
Exactly.
open
Not,
positions.
say for example, for the required roles, there are a set of competencies required. You all did that exercise. Okay. Now I'm actually doing an assessment for you people. I will get the gaps. So I can use it for developing them and then promoting them, right?
Yes.
Or say, for example, I want to do promotion of all deputy general managers to general managers HR. So what will I do? What are the requirements? What are the kind of competencies required by GMHRs? Okay. And I will assess all the deputy GMs in that and see what is the gap there in terms of the competencies. And then I will prepare an IDP, that means developmental plan for those. Okay. So that's how it is being used as a developmental tool. Then validation of training needs. Okay. Then also forming teams with complementary skills, in the sense, if I want to form a project team, so I will also assess people as to what are the kind of skills they have. Are they complementary to other? So in various cases, reorganization, etc. So all these are the uses of assessment centers. Okay, guys? I don't want to get into too much theory, so that, yeah. And typically what happens in an assessment, I said, it's a process wherein it takes maybe a day or two, or maybe a little more, depending on the kind of roles they are. Okay. You use a lot of tools and techniques, exercises there, and then all the assessors are given a sheet wherein they have to document whatever they are seeing vis-a-vis every competency. All right. And then they make a report after consensus. They discuss everything and then they create a report. If it is for assessment, typically the report is not given to the candidate. But if it is for developmental purposes, then the report is given to the participant. Okay. All right. I will just go to typically where you can actually understand easily. Let me first of all go to what are the kind of tools we use. Means when we are designing an assessment center for that process, what are some of the tools or what are some of the techniques we are going to use? Say, for example, I want to assess at an individual level. What are some of the exercises I can give? INTRAE. Have you heard of INTRAE?
Yeah.
Anybody? We'll
Yeah.
explain
Yes.
further. What is an entry? Think about your inbox on your
Inbox,
laptop.
yes,
Every day
inbox,
you get, right?
Mm.
So when I'm actually giving entry as an exercise, I will say these are the 10 things or the 15 things you as an HR manager has to do. You have 2 hours of time. Okay. Now I want to see within those 2 hours, are you able to finish the task? Because there will be some things which you will have to delegate, some things which are not of topmost priority, something which are urgent. So likewise, so I want to see as a manager, I can actually then assess certain competencies. So typically when I'm giving an entry exercise, what kind of competencies can I assess? I'm going to show you that grid also. Every exercise, what competencies will it measure? But here, without giving you that key, let me get a handle. Anybody?
Prioritization.
What will it measure, guys?
Prioritization.
planning,
Prioritization. Absolutely.
organizing.
Then organizing. Absolutely. Then time management, right? Delegation. Are you a person who will do everything yourself, or will you delegate? Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
All right. Then certain knowledge and skill tests can be given, certain physical ability tests. Typically, wherever, like for example, in the army, let me tell you guys, a lot of physical ability tests are given, because why?
Given.
That is very critical there.
Mm.
Okay. Written exercises for certain roles, maybe, even writing emails, very important.
Mm.
Role plays are the best thing
Best.
where you can actually evaluate and assess. What are some of the competencies typically you can do? Role play, empathy you can test,
Empathy.
customer service you can test. So there are really good competencies which you can assess through role plays. Case study, what kind of competencies will you measure?
Analytical skills.
Analytical skills.
Yes. What
Analytical
else?
decision
Decision
making.
Case
making.
study is another popular and easy tool. What else?
Decision making.
Presentation skills,
Presentation, yes.
oral communication skills,
Yes.
Mm.
then handling of questions, right?
Yes,
So
yes,
case
yes.
comprehension, or if it is at a higher level, your acumen, business acumen, strategy. So a lot of things can be assessed through case study. Interview simulations, very interesting. Anybody? For example, I have a job
Question.
which is highly stressful. So I can give a simulated interviews, stressful interviews. Gone are the days when a lot of HR people would actually indulge in stress interviews.
Mm.
Okay, but now they have reduced now, gone down. Presentations and report writing.
Yeah,
BEI
okay.
interviews. What is BEI interview? We will be doing that. What is BEI interview?
Interviews.
Behavioral
Yeah.
event.
Behavioral event interview.
Interview.
Event? What event?
The
Why events are becoming
Behavior.
important here? Why?
Behavior in certain point, in certain conditions.
To be able to exhibit this particular skills or knowledge what we are requiring.
Okay,
That
but what
being
is it?
assessed.
So when I say BEI interview, the most important thing, why are they very popular, is you are talking about not just any event, critical incidents. In that role, what are the critical incidents? Like, for example, say, we were doing some work for IOC in a big way. So we were doing, when you're filling up gas in those cylinders,
Mm.
the person, while filling up, but what is very critical at that point of time is when he's just finished, that's a time he has to do something manually. Okay. Otherwise, the cylinder will just burst. Okay. He has to do something manually. Now, when he's filling so many cylinders, sometimes what happens, you can, even when you just turn your head, it can blast. So the criticality is the presence of mind, especially at that point of time. So when we are doing a BI interview, what is that? Why does it elicit so much of information? Because you are checking out, hey, what are the critical incidents? One or two critical incidents. Now tell me, what are they in the recent past? How did you go about? So in assessment center, why is it becoming very, very effective? You are measuring as though the person is actually in the job doing it. Are you getting me? It is not something, artificial, something he
Superficial.
says and something he will do. No, you are actually going closer to the person doing that role. So when you're asking him, hey, what was it in the past that you've really was very, some of the 2 or 3 critical incidents which are high or low, what happened? Tell us like a story. So then you're analyzing, the assessor is analyzing the entire, not, coming to a judgment, recording each and everything. What did she do? Then what happened? How did she behave? What action she took? Then based on all these findings, then you will come to some kind of a judgment or evaluation. Okay, that's where we will be doing that BEI interview. At a group level, very popular leaderless group discussions. I'll take you through one leaderless group. All of you will do now. What is leaderless group discussion? Why is it really popular? What comes out of it? You are observing. No leader. So suddenly who's taking the leadership? Here is a person talking, summing up, somebody is just, so you're watching everybody's behavior. Is he taking initiative? So you are watching everyone's, so very, very important. Leaderless group discussions bring out a lot of information. Of course, business games, you can have many social events. Why are social events also at a group level very interesting? What can you?
Team bonding.
Social events, in fact, the TAS, I'm sure you know the TAS services, they indulge in social events assessments. They want to see people, how do they behave, what happens. So you have a person who's observing, right from this time that the person is entering into a party and how is he handling himself. So social events also very, very important. They give out a lot of input. Of course, psychometric tests. Anybody who's heard of IROB?
Yes.
Fundamental interrelationship orientation
behavior.
So what does it give you? It helps you to understand your interpersonal relationship on 3 factors. That is, inclusion means how much you want to be included as a group. So how much you want and how much you get. So in terms of what? Anybody who's already done a FIROB?
Long-term relationship.
Absolutely. In terms of affection, in terms of control, in terms of power. So we will be sending you that FIROB questionnaire so that you know exactly what is your wanted and what is expressed. Okay. Belbin, have you heard of Belbin?
No, not heard.
Belbin is another psychometric test which gives you, if you are a part of a team, what kind of a role are you playing? Are you a ideator? Are you a person who is actually controlling the group? So there are about 8 roles in the team, and typically what kind of a role you play in a team. Then of course MBTI, Myers, Briggs and Type Indicator, 16 PF, Thomas Disk Profiling. These are all the psychometric tests which give you an indication of what you are.
Personality.
So let us just see INTRAE. So INTRAE. So somebody can read out what kind of competencies does it test?
Problem analysis, planning, prioritization, organizing, and delegation.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Written exercises. So they actually assess or measure clarity of thoughts, articulation, assertiveness, etc. And role play, of course, a lot of fact finding, decision making, negotiation, conflict management, leadership. So a whole lot of things. Then group exercises help you to measure leadership, people skills, communication skills, teamwork,
Teamwork.
problem solving, etc. Social events. So how do you connect with people? Okay, the real side of you. And interviews, of course, the the skill, the will and the fitment means whether you really want to. There are some things I don't know, I want to do, but I know, but I don't want to do that kind. Case studies we have discussed and games as well. Okay. Now, these are some of the psychometric tests, and these are the parameters which get tested. Okay. And for your information, what we will be doing is we will do the fire OB, and yeah, maybe I'll give you the Belvin as well. All right. Okay.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Why do you think so the predictability is very, very high for an assessment center as opposed to, yes, I know Lena is handwriting, but the predictability is only 0.02. All right. Have you noticed handwriting 0.02? But assessment center is the highest. All right. Structured interview also is 0.51. And if I just look at education and hire a person, it's only 0.110. And so when you do the cognitive ability test plus the structured interviews, the predictive validity, what does it mean? That means when you hire a person for a role, so the prediction of him doing very well is very, very high. All right. Okay. So this you can actually, we will go after that, because we have less time to do things. Let me start. So typically, how do you go?
Sorry,
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I have a question on the assessment centers.
Is that, yeah, tell me.
So a very basic question though, that the exercises or the tools rather that you explained, role plays and the others. So is it that for every role when we are using assessment centers, all of these tools have to be a part of it, or is it that
No.
it can be a pick and choose?
So we are coming to that, huh?
Okay.
So that you will have a better understanding. All right.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
So, but at this point of time, I gave you a laundry list. I just took you through that. What are the various tools which are available? Okay.
Okay.
But how do you choose them, which you will also do it for yourself now through an exercise? We will do it. Okay. Now, what is the process of going through an assessment center? First of all, after having an understanding of the company's culture, etc., we want to conduct an assessment center. Then how do you go about? First of all, what you did in this exercise, last project you all did, you need to have a competency map. That is your preset standard, right?
Okay.
You need to have a competency map. If you are saying I'm running an assessment center, but you don't even have a competency map, then I'm sorry, you're wasting your time, right?
Okay.
Because against what you want to measure.
Yes.
Are you with me? That's very, very important. So you need to have a competency map. When I say competency map, you now tell me you all did it. What all will you have then? For any role or whatever, what all will you have?
Competency.
For
that role, whatever we are.
So list of competencies. List of competencies. Then you will have the proficiency levels, right?
Threshold.
And behavioral indicators as well. Got it? Very important. What ultimately, what is the building block for your entire competency? Is the behavioral indicator. Behavioral indicator. That also I will show you right now. Then after that, what will you do? You will then prepare, of course, all those indicators, and then you will get the assessors to be trained, and let us see how we are going to go about it. Okay. So to create a competency map, which you have already done, you have defined the role, analyzing functional skills and knowledge, and we have done that. That exercise. Any clarification there? That you have done very well. Now, after having done that, Now I think it was she who asked me the question, right? Now, if I'm saying that, hey, I am having a role like a maybe customer care executive, or maybe at entry level some role. Now the competencies required for that role are this. I have to test for motivation, analytical skills, service orientation, relationship building, planning and prioritizing, oral communication. Got it?
Okay.
Now, if these are the list of skills required to be measured or assessed, now these we will have even the behavioral indicators. Okay. But now I have to do the designing of the tools and techniques. So I have to say, hey, now I have to choose, what tools will I choose to measure? Now this is called the assessment matrix. It's got a typical word. What is it called? Assessment matrix.
Yes.
Designing of an assessment matrix. So when I say how do you design an assessment matrix, you have to have the list of competencies for that role along with the behavioral indicators, proficiency levels, etc. And then you will look at all of either vertically, horizontally. You will list out those tools which have to assess at least at the competence has to be assessed by two exercises, if not three, not just one. Okay. Like if you see, every competency is being assessed at two places. By the way, OBT, I hope you know what is OBT.
Behavioral test.
Huh?
No.
OBT.
Outbound training.
Outbound training.
Acha.
We use a lot of this also to assess skills. Right? Okay. How many of you have gone through all this outbound training? Huh?
Yes, very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are
Very interesting, and I find that OBTs are very good sometimes. Huh? Like for example, we play a very interesting game for trust. Okay, in a team, you want to assess or you want to build a trust. You want to teach them to trust. So what happens? You ask every person to just fall down. Okay. And we'll say, hey, we are there to catch you. But if I don't have trust in my group, I can actually fall off. Huh? So very interesting OBTs. Huh? Yeah, maybe I will send you some OBTs and let's see if we can do some analytical skills. If you see, it is again measuring at two places. Service orientation. Okay. Then relationship building, planning and prioritization, oral communication. So in an assessment matrix, what does it mean? Let me see if somebody can tell. What do we do in an assessment matrix? Let me ask Swati only because she asked that question. Huh? Am I going to just use any?
No.
So I'll be using that specific tool which will measure the required competencies, right?
Yeah.
Not just use any laundry list. Like that's why I told you in the first day, you might be getting a lot of competency dictionaries in the on the internet, but because competency is contextual, pertaining to that organization, right? Very, very specific to that role in that organization. So likewise, when you're using a tool, you will have to use it to see if that is measuring that particular competency. Very clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Now what do we do? Then, so you have to have bars, which are called behavioral indicators. Otherwise, how will you then, when you're assessing somebody, where will you place him? Motivation. You have to know exactly. You can't use your assessor has to see exactly, observe the demonstrated behavior and then write there. So I will show you what is the form where he also uses, he or she uses. So what does the assessor do? Assessor, we call it as ORS. I'm sure some of you have heard of it. We say they have to be trained in ORS. What does it mean? I typically say be like a video. when you do video, what do? You don't use your mouth, right? You are just taking it,
Observe.
recording it.
Yes.
So this assessor has to be a video recorder. What does it mean? Observe. O stands for observing. Then after observing, now what if I have to do, like I've given some tool exercise. So I will say, Leena is busy keeping, writing something. Now that writing something, maybe writing anything, I don't know what, but at least, I'm seeing that she's very busily showing a lot of interest. Observing, recording. Then after recording, you are going to classify the data.
Record.
Then you are summarizing the data and then you are evaluating. So observing and recording and classifying, the assessors do it individually. But after that, summarizing is all the assessors then sit together every day at the end of the day and summarize whatever data they have observed and recorded and classified. Now, if there are 4 assessors and I have some kind of a different classification I've done, and so what I will have to again go back to what I observed and recorded, what I've written, and we all discuss, because everybody has to come to a consensus. It is not weighted average here. Is it very clear?
Clear.
For example, there are 4 assessors. Somebody gave 2 ratings, somebody gave 3 ratings, somebody gave 5 rating. Not that I will take a weighted average of 2 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5 and say, oh, this is the summary. No, not weighted average. Everybody has to give a consensus saying, no, this is what it is. This is the rating. Because then they will also talk about how the person, what they observed, what that SSC demonstrated, etc. So till a consensus is created, then a summary report is written. Okay, and a rating is given. Let us see what happens. So actually, I'm taking you into a now an assessment process room. So where candidates will be there.
One query. Is that recoding? What is the meaning of recoding?
Where?
This second one B.
Recording, actually recording.
Recording. Okay.
It's recording. I'm so sorry.
Understood.
Yeah, I will correct it. Recording it is not recoding. Okay. Classifying is actually coding. Means you are coding specific
Clustering.
behaviors into one construct. Okay.
Cluster.
Yeah. Now we are getting into that assessment room now. So there are rooms, then there are assessors, and then you have a schedule. You have to prepare that. So how does it look? So this I've already taken you through. How does it look? I will just show you. The schedule. Sorry. Yep. Is it clear or should I make it bigger?
It's clear.
Which slide?
Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. Now
it's fine. Now it's fine.
Yeah.
Better now.
Perfect.
Okay. So if you see, this is the schedule. So you will have a time schedule. Then you will have the assessors who are actually, assessing or observing the SSCs, right? Okay. And then the various, the schedule for the day will be written there. All right. Now, you may say, now, how will the record? Now look at this profile. So when I get the summary report, what will I say? Customer orientation. Say this is a profile of somebody. On customer orientation, the 4 assessors have come to a conclusion that the person is on a rating of 1 to 5 is 4. Okay. Relationship building, the person is here. That is 5. So you get a report where you are actually doing the rating like this. Got it? This is whose report? X person's report.
X person.
But you will also have the role. What does the role require? The role may require, say, for example, I can make another one like 3
Proficiency.
and 4 and this and this, this. So, where is it? 1 second, guys. I want to show that.
Required proficiency.
Got it?
Okay, the benchmarks now.
What does it mean? Like, say, for example, the role requires, say, for example, the red. I may be much higher, huh? Or the role requires, so I can plot both. What does the role require? On that, I will plot. This is called the spider chart, wherein I will put all the competencies in the proficiency levels, and after getting the report, I can do through Excel charts. I can create this spider chart for everybody, and I'll know the gaps. Got it? So if a person has actually met the threshold and I feel, hey, threshold is good enough, I may hire him. Or if I feel that no, that it is not even a threshold, then I will not hire him. Any clarifications, guys, for this point?
No, got it.
Huh? Got it? Okay, one second. Okay. Okay. Guys, I want to see your comprehension. Okay. Now, how many of you are there? I'm not seeing. How many of you are there?
6, no?
6.
6, is it? Huh? So
7.
only one group. How many?
7.
7. It's
7.
okay. Only one group. Wilma has mailed you all a customer service profile. Okay. This is for a company called Virgin Mobile. And we've actually conducted this extensively, when I was heading Tata's. Now, what I want you all to do is, we are selecting for customer champions, right? Now, I want you to create a design an assessment matrix. What does it mean, assessment matrix? That means I want you all to pick up tools or exercises of simulation to measure the following competencies. So somebody who is going to take it, just take a picture of this. These are the competencies to be measured: communication skill, customer focus, flexibility, resilience, problem solving and decision making, achievement and result oriented, and team working. Now I want you all to design an assessment matrix which will measure these competencies. Also, please note that you have to ensure that every competency has to be measured twice. Okay, through 2 tools or 2 exercises. Is this exercise very clear? Because once you start doing it, then it will sink in more. Huh? So currently, what are you doing? Designing an assessment